again, I am the Angry Cook. Sorry for the couple of week absence. There were some things I had to take care of, and I was out of state. We're back in business. Today we're going to be doing, what is that? Today we're going to be doing pizza again. We're going to be doing pan pizza, cast iron skillet type of pizza. This requires you to make your dough the day before, like we usually do when we made our pizza dough before. We're only making one crust this time in a 10-inch cast iron pan. So to start, we have 8 ounces of water. We're going to check temperature. It should be between 105 and 110 degrees. It's not. So we'll go for about 20 seconds and check it then. We have 8 ounces of water, 11 ounces all-purpose flour, teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of yeast, teaspoon of sugar, and tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. So put it in our blender. We're going to knead it for, we're going to mix it for about 2 or 3 minutes just till it all comes together. We're going to form it into a ball and put it in the refrigerator for 18 to 24 hours, or even longer actually, right, doesn't matter, to rise, do its preliminary rise, and to moisten the gluten. Moisten the gluten, is that right? To get the glutens to form. Let's go that way. If you don't have one of these or an instant read thermometer, get them. These are cheap. This is cheap. This was Amazon, 19 bucks or some nonsense. We have 8 ounces of hot tap water between 105 and 110 degrees. This happens to be about 104.5, which is close enough for me for government work. We're going to add a teaspoon of sugar, we're going to add a teaspoon of yeasties. Now, we've been through this before, but I'm sure some of you are out there wondering, why are we doing this? Why don't we just put it all here? Well, you could do that if you're absolutely sure your yeast is good. I'm not willing to take that chance, so I do this every time. I bloom my yeast for about 10 minutes in warm water, and then I go ahead with the recipe. So let's let that sit for 10 minutes. Stop. Or so. We'll see how it blooms at the top. We're going to add to our bowl 11 ounces of all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour too. We want this to be a little softer and chewier, so we're going to go with AP flour instead. I've got a backup bag in case, because this is just about done. 10.9, 11, that's just about shot, so we'll put the rest of that in a new bag. We're going to go with a teaspoon of salt. My teaspoon's wet, so we'll use a tablespoon, or we'll use a half teaspoon, and do it twice. We're going to mix this all together on low. Or medium, doesn't matter, we're not doing anything to it if I mix it. I've been thinking, by the way, getting off the food thing, of refurbing this KitchenAid. This was my father's, as you all know, because I've said it enough times. My father was a professional chef. He bought this sometime in the early 70s. I remember it growing up. I remember it when I was in high school. So it's about 50 years old, give or take. It's seen better days. I've been looking at a bunch of videos on how to do that. Take it all apart and take all the grease out of it and re-grease it with food grade grease and get everything up to date. And I even would like to sand this down and repaint it white again, like it has been. Get the missing part, that's the cover here that's missing, and do it all up. Put new bushings in it, or brushes in it, I'm sorry, and get it back to looking like it was when it was new. This has been used very hard. My father used this at home when he was making everything, when he needed a mixer. I use it a lot, not as much as he did, of course, but I use it. So that might be a 2 or 3 parter, depends. So I'm looking at that in the future. We'll see if that happens. Okay, after what? Not even 3 minutes, you see the top of that, how that's gotten a foam to it. I know the yeast is good, so we don't need to wait any longer. I know it was good anyway, but what the hell. We're going to put a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil in here, as I do with all my pizza dough. Why? Because I want to. Where are we? And we have 11 ounces of flour, a teaspoon of salt, and a tablespoon of olive oil. We're going to start that on low, and we're going to add our yeast and water and sugar. Slowly, we're going to swirl it as we go to get the stuff off the bottom, because there's always stuff on the bottom. And we're using our bread hook attachment. You can do all this by hand. Regular mixer would do the same thing. We're going to wipe down the sides a little bit. I don't know if that camera's doing anything at all right now because I can't connect to it. But it is on, so maybe we'll get to see some stuff. I'm trying to do 2 cameras now. We'll see. I think I've got it set for 2. Alright, that wasn't long, was it? I wonder where that came out. Huh. You think maybe I didn't have it on right? Duh. Alright, let's get a little bit of oil on our hands in the meantime. We're going to need that again for the pot here, the container to put in the fridge. We're going to have to oil this up and the dough up. Even with the oil, it's sticky, see? And that's alright. It's what you expect in a high hydration dough. So we're just going to kind of get it into a ball. I was researching this today, and I saw all manner of things, including vegetable oil spray on the dough ball. That just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know why, but it does. Get some oil in here, some oil in the pan, the pot, vessel, container, whatever the hell it is. Get that all oiled up nicely so it doesn't form a skin. Okay, there we go. Can you see that? Hello? Are you looking? Are you doing anything? I have no idea. Alright. In the fridge, at least 18 to 24 hours. I know some people put theirs in the fridge for up to a week. I've never done that. Mine is usually 24 hours. And that's what this will be. So we'll see you again tomorrow. This is going to be on. So we'll see you tomorrow morning. We're going to finish this up and make ourselves a pan pizza from Jabba the Hut. Figure that out. Like that's not obvious, right? Alright, we'll see you tomorrow in the fridge. Alright, we're back the next day. Not quite 24 hours, more like 18. But that's good enough for this. I do recommend you stick it out for 24 hours at least, but sometimes you just can't. So here's our dough. We got about, it's risen by about a half. Still very sticky. We're going to take our 10-inch frying pan, 10-inch cast iron frying pan. We're going to put about 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. You want this really, really thick down here. Because number one, we don't want it to stick. And number two, we want to get a good crispy crust on this. So put it in there, slather it all around, get it up in a corner, up the edge a little bit, so it's nice and done. Now, put a little oil in your hands. Then we're going to get this bad boy out of here. We're going to put it in the middle of our cast iron pan, and we're going to press it out a little bit. Don't put a lot of pressure on it, but we do want to get the large air bubbles out that we can, when we can, and just kind of stretch it out. Oh, by the way, we have taken this out of the fridge about half an hour ago to warm up a little bit. And we're going to go and get it out there. We have a little bit too much olive oil in there now. Let's get rid of some of it. And get a little edge on your crust. Remember, this is a pan pizza, not a Neapolitan pizza, so we do want a little bit of a, it is going to be thicker. So once you're stretched out to your liking, again, I still don't know if this one's working or not. I can't seem to attach to it to get a view on it. We're going to cover it up again and let it sit for, about half an hour to an hour, somewhere around there. And that's too small, of course, so I got to get another one. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to cover it, let it sit for about half an hour or so, and then we're going to dress our pizza and put it in the oven. So we'll be back in about half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, whichever it takes. So see you in a couple of minutes. Okay, we're back. You can leave, you can let this rise, or rest more, or rise more, rest more, as you see fit. I think half an hour is plenty for me. So, there we go. I don't even know if you're here. Of course, that one's frozen already. Good job. There's our crust. I'm going to put a little oregano on the crust itself, because we happen to like oregano. Just a touch. This is our regular pizza sauce. In episode 8, I show how to make this. Don't oversauce your pizza. If you do, then all you're going to get is sauce and you're not going to taste anything else. Plus, it makes it soggy too. So we're just going to spread this out. Oh, in the meantime, while we've been gone, I set the oven on 400, put the rack in the lowest possible position, so this is as close to the heat as possible, so we get a nice crispy crust on the bottom. Spend way more time than I need to on that. I'm going to do a little shaved Parmesan and a little shaved Asiago on top of this because I want to. You can or can't do that, that's up to you again. Don't use the canned stuff, the jarred stuff that you shake out on your, it's crap. You don't know what's in it. Cellulose can be in it. I know, you've heard me say that over and over and over again. But it's true. I'm sure there's some that are great. I don't know any. I like cheese. Lots of cheese. Okay. Now for the mozzarella. I usually don't like this stuff. It's what I happen to have right now, unfortunately. Best thing is to get a ball of mozzarella and cut it up and put it on top. That's what I would do if I had it. I don't have it, so I'm just going to use this. It doesn't melt as well. They put some type of coating on it. I forget what it is now. So it doesn't melt quite as well as it should. That's about 4 ounces or so. Give it a take a click or two. Spread it out. We're going to do pepperoni and sausage on this, because why not? Leave some spacing for the sausage. Italian hot sausage in a link. Cut the casing off, tore it up. Going to put it on raw. I want that grease to get all in there and all nice and combined with everything else. You can cook it if it means that much to you. Cook it, but I think it's better this way. Not like I don't have opinions and stuff, huh? We're going to take our sausage and just sprinkle it on. Every which way but loose. Ah! Lots of sausage. Lots of pepperoni. Lots of cheese. Lots of. And this is a really hefty crust, so we can stand up to this stuff too. A lot better than the other crust that I use, although that's pretty good too, actually. My wife likes that particular crust because it's thin, and I like thin crust too, but this is what we're going to try. Okay, in a 400-degree oven, lowest rack possible, for about 25 to 30 minutes. We'll be back. Well, we put it in first, then we'll be back. And we'll be back in about 25 minutes. Alright, we've got a total of about 30 minutes. Let's take a look. I don't know if you can see that. Look at that. Let's take a look at the bottom crust, shall we? Or the bottom of the crust, I guess. Oh, jeez. That's awesome. Put it out on here so you can see it better. Even with silicone gloves, this is hot. Holy shnikes. Let's go over the side. Look at that crust. Nice and brown. And hot. Hotter than a mother. Alright. Lunch is served, boys and girls. The big game, because you can't say the SB name because they'll sue you, is coming in a few weeks, I think. I don't watch football, so I don't know. If you have a couple of 10-inch cast iron pans or borrow one from somebody, make a few of these. Just make a bunch of different ones and set them out as part of your party. These will work, I think, but it sure looks good. Crusty musty. Feels soft. I think thirds is more apt than quarters, but there's a lot of dough here, so good quarters. Lunch is served. Pan pizza from Jabba the Hut. We'll see you next time on The Angry Cook.